Hello, everyone, and welcome to Kentucky Go Digital Live. My name is Elaine Abernatha. I'm a Technology Integration Specialist for McCracken County Schools, and I'm excited to lead and learn alongside with you viewers today on how Bristow Elementary in Warren County uses Google Forms and Google Sheets for their car rider system. So this is our second episode of Series 3 for Principals on Working Smarter and Not Harder. Our last episode, if you missed it, was with Jessamine County and on Team Drives, Google Drives, and how they used it for their PLCs and their staff newsletter and admin agendas. If you missed that episode, please check it out when you have time. It was an amazing episode, and all of our other episodes are all listed in the Kentucky Go Digital YouTube channel, so make sure you subscribe. So today I'm joined by our amazing Kentucky Go Digital Live team. We have Heather Worrell, who's our digital learning coach, Kentucky Office of Education. She is going to be joining us in just a few moments. And we also have Brooke Whitlow, who's an Instructional Technology Coordinator of Hardin County Schools. Hey, Brooke.
Hello. Oh.
So we have Brooke and Heather are going to be fielding your questions from YouTube, along with Twitter and Facebook. Make sure that you feel comfortable and feel free to join us with the conversation if you have any questions on those platforms. So we've got Facebook going, Twitter going, and then make sure that we've got and on YouTube we have those live questions as well. Today, unfortunately, we're missing Courtney. We miss her, DeRossett. She's our Chief Information Officer from Floyd County. She's attending a community event at her hometown and just couldn't make it today, but we miss her. So I'm excited to introduce you to these remarkable Warren County leaders. We have Principal Chris Sutton, and he is the principal at Bristow Elementary. Hello. We also have Robbie Flora. He's the Assistant Technology Director in the Technology Office. Hello, Robbie, how are you?
I'm wonderful. Hope everybody's having a great Friday.
Great. Glad to have you. We also have Amy Bush. She's a technology resource teacher for Warren County Schools. Hi, Amy.
Hi.
Glad to have you. And Matt Chrisline, a technology resource teacher for Warren County Schools. Hi, Matt. All right, so I'm going to let Mr. Chris take it away and discuss the need for this. What is this system and that you have devised and created and for this, for the car riding system, and why did you decide that this was a need? And let our viewers know what's going on with this that you have developed.
All right, thank you. First, I want to share that we have a wonderful technology team who supports us here in Warren County. And so I wanted to recognize the individuals who are kind of behind the scenes. And a lot of times they'll push and try to give me all the credit, but they do a lot of work behind and help. And so I want to share and say thank you to them. But for our system, we use Google Sheets. I'm going to share my screen really quick.
Okay.
So we use Google Sheets for our car rider system here at Bristow. And to get started, I'm going to kind of just show you guys a Google Earth to show you kind of what our situation here is at Bristow and why this is important. Bristow is located on State Highway US 31W. And when I first started here at Bristow, the previous year or over the summer, the car rider system was changed to the back of the building. And we have our playground is in the back of the building where the cars line up. And there's a little gate here. And as you all know, in elementary school, parents want to show up an hour before to pick up their kids, get in line first. And so that was creating an issue with cars backing up and being out on the state highway. So within the first couple of weeks, we had the state transportation department, state police, everyone here trying to figure out a solution to this system or a solution to this problem, so to speak. So we had to come up with a way to become more efficient and a way to ensure that we got our cars through as quickly as possible to ensure they weren't backed up on Louisville Road. So what we have on our, I'm not sure if you'll be able to see on Google Earth, but on this back sidewalk, we have little paw prints. There are 10 paw prints set up on our back sidewalk, and that enables the students to know where to go to line up, and they're spaced out about a car length and a half away. So we have our students to stage in our library. They come into our library and they stage, and there's a door right here. They exit and come out and line up on this sidewalk ready to enter their car. So our system itself, we have about 80, 90 cars today. Our goal is to be out and be finished in 13 to 14 minutes. One of the other issues was, and of course, if you work in elementary school, you know that in the afternoons there are many things going on to ensure all the students get home safely. So we also wanted to reduce the radio traffic with the office. A lot of systems will call students' names over the intercom or over the radio, and so that's a continuous thing. So our office staff was hearing that and trying to deal with phone calls and make sure kids are getting on the right buses. So we want to reduce that up as well. And then one additional benefit that we found not just a week ago was actually unintentional. We had a student who actually had stayed for chess, and we couldn't get a hold of mother. And so ultimately she got home and the son wasn't home, and she was concerned as to why he wasn't there or where he was. So our transportation department contacted me, and I was able to go into our sheets and verify that he actually did not go through our car rider system, because of course those names are all saved in there until we delete them next day. So that was kind of an unintentional benefit that we had. And so let's go ahead and we're going to dive into what our system is. So I'm going to click this link. This link is there. If you all will click that link at any time, that will enable you to make a copy of this system. So once you open it up, it kind of show you what it looks like. If you click use template, that'll make a copy and add it to your drive. So in our system, we have a couple of tabs down here at the bottom. We have a car rider list, we have student names, and we have what's called a library view. So we have outside in the afternoons, one of our staff members goes out and they just have a cell phone, and they are going to input the students' names in groups of 10 on this first sheet. The first year we did this, that's all we did. We just kind of typed the students' names into those cells. And then as we continue to grow as a school, we wanted to come up with some additional ways to try to increase the speed of the system. So this year, our technology department, along with our librarian, Ms. Major, also thought about adding data validation to create a list of student names. So our second list, if you look at our the second page of the sheet, you'll see a list of student names. You click on that. There's a list of student names there. So this list is used as a sheet to hold the student names. And you'll kind of notice down through here, there's a couple issues with car rider. One issue would be if you have preschoolers that are only a couple days a week. We have preschool on Monday and Wednesday, or Tuesday and Thursday. And then they have a sibling. So we will list if one day you only have the older sibling, or one day you have the sibling and the one that would be in preschool. Or you could have multiple siblings. So we list those as well. One additional thing that we look at is we list the names not by last name. We actually list them by the order that they're written on the car rider tag. So for example, if my tag said Chris Stunson, it would be listed as Chris Stunson. Or if it was myself and I had a brother that had a different last name and my name was first, we would list whatever name is listed first, so that when we go to look at our car rider list, that's all we have to look for is that first kid's name, and not have to go through and search through various names. So it's kind of in the same order every day. So what our system is when the lady goes out with the phone to input our names, when she goes in, she's able to click this triangle, and the triangle populates the list from our hidden sheet, which is student names. So she's able to select the student's name that will go first. And she proceeds, she'll select the second student, the third student, so on and so forth. Meanwhile, the system is set up to where this is the view that she sees, but our third sheet is for library view. So in our library view, we also have a Chromebook set up in the library for a staff member to call names. So the library view populates the same names, and it gives the students a number. So number 1 would be Freddie, number 2 would be Eddie, number 3 would be Bobby. And so these are populating in real time as the names are being typed in, or the names are being selected by the individual outside. At the same time, they're populating in the library, and we were able to line up the kids 10 at a time And the kids are able to walk out as the first set of 10 kids enter the car. Once we see them getting in the car, the next group goes in and begins to walk out. So they're already at their spot waiting when their parents pull up or their guardians pull up to the curb to pick them up. So it's pretty efficient. Again, we beat our buses out of the building most days. Most days whenever we come out, we have the ability to come out and support the staff with car or with bus duty if we need to as well. So it's a pretty efficient system. That's pretty much the system in itself. At this time, I'll turn it over to our tech team and allow them to discuss more of the formulas and the details behind the system.
All right, I'm going to share my screen as well.
Robbie, while you're doing that, Chris, I'm totally nerding out over that. That is spectacular. And I know we just had a comment from another principal on the live chat that just is in awe as well. I just am always blown away at the power of these tools. People see a need, you use the tools, and you figure out how to meet that need, and that is pretty special stuff. Did you figure that out on your own?
No, actually, Amy Buss, who's going to sit as a silent partner as much as she can, I won't let her. She was one of the individuals who really helped to champion this system. It's kind of one of those things that when we all put our minds together and kind of think about, what can we do? How can we maximize our efficiency and reduce the workload on all the staff? That when we worked together, we were able to come up with this system. And so I wouldn't say that it was me. I would say it was definitely a team effort between Ms. Buss, Mr. Floor, Mr. Crossline, the tech department, and everybody here at Bristow.
I just want to hop in and say that, well, I'm pretty sure I saw Amy giving you the evil eye just a second ago, by the way. I made you laugh there, Jake, didn't I? I love that you pointed out that as a principal, you are constantly collaborating with your tech department, because that is such a valuable partnership that I think a lot of our school leaders overlook, or maybe just don't, think about, us. And I'm speaking obviously because I'm Amy and Matt in Hardin County, and I see things that are kind of a disaster, and I'm like, oh, I could help you so much. And so just from hearing you say that as a school leader, and just seeing the value in partnering with the technology department, I think is just awesome. So props to you for, and you guys all together collaborating, because I love it so much. I'm having all the feels right now on today's episode.
I would definitely second that. One of the things that I think is a powerful thing is that when you guys are able to step out of your comfort zone and be willing to try something new as principals, and when I'm speaking to you guys, and when we can all come together, absolutely, that we can make a difference and use our time and energy a lot more efficiently. So I'm super excited. Robbie, go ahead and let us see how this works. And teach us some awesome stuff on what's behind the scenes on this whole system.
All right, it is actually very, very simple. It's just a Google sheet. Like, I know at one point it said Google Forms and Sheets, but there is no form on this one. We are addicted to forms around here, but not for this. So it started out just as a one-page Google sheet, and I'm going to jump over here in this column, and whoever was out in the car rider line taking names, at first they would just type in the names, and so there was nothing fancy at all. They just type them in. Well, then they decided, hold on, we could make this a little faster. We could use data validation. So they said, all right, we've got our student names. Let's list all the students there. And then in column C here, but I'm just doing it over here so don't mess it up. They did data validation, and it's list from a range, and then they would just pick that range. And so that worked pretty well. I'll just drag that down. You see, they would just pick. All right, so Cobby's here. And they would just pick Eddie's here, Freddie. And that worked even better. But then they started going, well, hold on. Cobby, Eddie, and Freddie are already here. So why do they have to still be in the list? Is there a way we can get them out of the list? So that's where we got a little bit tricky, and that's just started in the last few months. And that's where we use some formulas. I don't want to show everybody how dorky I am and get into all the formulas, but I'll just try to explain it briefly, and then if anybody has questions, you're more than welcome to ask.
Robbie, you got to celebrate that dorkiness. That's awesomeness. It's not really, it's purple cow.
Yeah, buddy. That's not what my wife says.
I was just about to say, I want to be Robbie when I grow up. I'm just saying.
So you're calling me old. All right, so if you'll notice on this sheet, there are some hidden columns. It's B, C, and then I. So let's just unhide those. And I'll just kind of go through it as quick as I can. All this column A does is whatever is entered on the student names sheet, it just copies it over to here. So anytime they get a new car rider, a new student moves in, they can just add it to student names and it just automatically shows up here. But we needed it here just for a formula we were using over here. Column B is nothing. Column C is what's visible. But in this column, you'll notice there's a formula. I honestly can't tell you what that formula is. I just Googled until I found something that worked. So I'll tell you what it does. It says, look in column A. So look at this cell, and then look and see if you find that name anywhere in this column. If you find it, make this cell go empty. But if you don't find it, it says still here. Okay, so I'll go down here and pick Ashby. And notice now this cell is empty. And it's because it found Ashby in this column. So this one's empty. Okay. Now in this column, column E, we just have a query going against these 4 columns. And that query just says, look at those columns, and any of them that say still here, add here. But if column D is empty, don't put them in this column. So then you only have the kids that are still here showing up in this column. So then back in column C, instead of doing data validation against everyone, we're doing data validation against column E, just the kids that are still here. So right now when I hit this and pick Dobby, it's a choice and it thinks it's good, but then you see that the corner turned red and it's going, it's invalid because Dobby is no longer in that group. But that means Dobby won't show up in the list anymore. Now I can pick Eddie. As soon as it goes red in the corner, Eddie's gone from the list. So it's pretty instantaneous, makes it quick. It makes them just a little bit more efficient. I'll hide these columns back so I don't mess anybody up making a copy. And as far as I know, there's no reason you should ever have to even, I don't think Bristow ever even looks at these columns. They just stay hidden and it just works. So I'm done unless anybody has questions.
Well, I want to make sure that we let our viewers know that you guys are actually packaging this up and allowing everyone who wants the link to the copy of this so they don't have to reinvent the wheel, which is one of our missions of sharing with each other so that we all don't have to refigure this whole thing out. And I love that. And thank you again for all that. That's what we're about. So thank you.
Well, I hate to jump back in, but I will say one more thing. So on this library view, if the schools wanted to change that, like Bristow just has 10 paw prints. They're all the same. But let's say you had a pink paw print, a blue paw print, a red paw print. You could, say that this is our pink group here. Here's our blue group, and make your groups across there. And so your first 10 car riders are going to be right across the top instead of listed this way. But let's say, so the first person in group 2 is going to also be at pink, let's say. So let's go back here. Pick Cobby's there. Freddie's there. So now, instead of having them listed this way, these are just telling it, find those. We can just copy that here. And you can make this really pretty. And so I'm thinking, like, now you could have this, the teachers open this up in the classrooms even. And so Freddie knows I'm the third kid in the pink line because he's way down here. So you can make it your own, make it how it works for you, but it's just copying and pasting the formulas where you need them. I'll shut up now.
So for our principals who are just getting started, once you get into formulas, that's where it kind of starts to get a little confusing. What would be step one? What's step one to making this system become a reality?
I'll answer. I was seeing if Stunson would, but he's still muted, I think. I think step one is they can just start simple. They don't even have to use data validation. They can just, type in little Johnny. I'm typing it like y'all can still see my screen. And it can evolve, and then you start using data validation to speed it up, or you can use the formula so that the list gets shorter every time a kid leaves. It doesn't have to be complicated right at first.
This is a little bit of how do you see that this system may be able to grow later on in the future? I know that we've seen some schools that have thought about using barcodes and scanning students. Have you guys thought about expanding this even further? And as so that, now I'm not sure, are there parents can view anything? Or is this all just your staff in the school that can see these items? Obviously, we wouldn't want to share the other students' names, but I didn't know if you had a way that you guys were sharing with parents any of this information.
I'll jump in here. First, I want to go back and address your question on kind of what the first steps is. For our first year, I'm going to share real quick my screen again. For our first year, can everybody see this? For our first year, this is all we had. It was just a Google sheet that had the numbers 1 through 10, and all we would do was just list student 1, student 2, student 3, had the paw prints, and had the paw prints out on the sidewalk, and just had the Chromebook in the library and the person outside with the cell phone. It was really that simple. And then, of course, just in the growth mindset, we kept wanting to kind of challenge ourselves and figure out how we can make this more and more efficient. So that's kind of the first. That would be kind of the first step if you want to do very simple.
So do parents have a sign on their car? I feel like there's probably a little bit more back end work determining your car riders, or because I know I pick up my kids from school occasionally, and we put the good old sign in the dashboard. So from the very beginning, because most elementary school principals for student pickup, are they still doing the sign in the car with the walkie-talkie. Is that what you used to do? And then you evolved. So help me help a principal who's still doing sign in the dashboard, walkie-talkie system, take the first step to this.
So we still actually have, we have a community partner who purchased car wire tags for the district. And so every year we get a box of tags, just like probably every other school. And so we still have those in the car, and the parents still have those, and that's where we get the names from. Now, of course, we learn cars, and as the year goes on, we learn who's in what car. So there's less need for that, of course, but we still require them to have those. But that's really where we are. We just literally have just taken the walkie-talkie radio piece out of it by using Google Sheets.
So the person with the cell phone reads the kid's name, goes into the sheet, denotes that kid's here. It gets pushed to the media center where the kids are waiting, and that signals the kids to come to the front of the school. And this system has allowed you to cut this whole system in half considerably. Didn't you say it takes far fewer, like you're getting them out before your buses?
Yes, we on average, we have 80 to 90 cars. And this process, we get out of school at 2:20, and we're normally finished with the majority of the kids by 2:33. The only reason that we're not finished with all of the kids, I think we've got some of the parents who have finally figured out they don't have to line up an hour ahead, so they can show up at 2:35 and there's nobody there. So they drive in, get their kid, and they leave. So there's a few stragglers that have kind of figured that out. Like, I'm not going to wait an hour anymore. So that kind of has been a benefit as well.
So I want to approach my kid's school principal with this show. I want to sit with her, have her take a look at it, because I feel like they can be more efficient. Actually, one of the other parents saw us advertising this show, and she actually tweeted at me, hey, we need to show our kids' principal this show. So right now, how am I going to sell this to her? Because they're still on the walkie-talkie system. So how do I convince her that this is quicker? What's the piece of that the technology allows for in order to make this system more efficient than her walkie-talkie system? How can I sell her?
Well, I think the big sell for us was the piece that we had an audit in the first year with the Kentucky Center for School Safety. They do those safety audits. And one of the commendations from that audit was our car writer system. And that was when we were in the basic year of just the Google Sheet. And they were just thought that our car writer system was very efficient. So there was no changes, and they wished that more would use this system. And then from there, of course, our minds are just, okay, how can we make this better and better and better? And that's kind of where we are now. So with that audit, that was a commendation that came out of that was our system and our car writer. And then the second piece is that, the last thing, and again, it was what I talked about was it was an unintentional benefit, is the school safety piece. Again, we had the young man that was not located at the end of the day a couple weeks ago. Granted, it happened to be a young man that yells at me no matter where I'm at. And I happen to remember that he yelled at me when I was leaving school that day. So we did know where he was. But had that been a real situation in which we did not know that kid was here at Chess, and the kid was not located, we would be able to verify that he was car number 10 in group 3, or he was not with us at all, because those names are there. And in any other situation, you don't have a recollection of what kid went where. And so in this case, we have documentation of what kid went through car rider line and where they were.
That to me is huge. Safety, of course, is near and dear to most of our hearts, but that safety piece and that documentation piece, unfortunately, we have things happen that with students, somebody picked up somebody just like you said or not, and that is amazing. And that is what most of those systems, Heather, that yours and actually mine is very similar. We have to stand outside and hold a sign, and then parents go outside. So, but that safety piece is key, and another reason why you're losing that data if you don't. It's making it more efficient and working smarter, not harder, for sure. So there you go, Heather. That's where I would sell it. Number one, as it's safe. It's safer too, because you're getting that data and keeping it. So.
I'll
Okay.
jump in just real quick too, though. It's also just a lot easier. With the Walkie Talkies, you can only tell the next 10 cars. That's all you can say. Okay, these 10 are coming in. Or if you want to do more than that, you got to have somebody on the other end of the Walkie Talkie writing down the names and keeping up with it. This is easier on the person recording it. They can get all 80 cars in before the first car is loaded. Then
There it is. That's the connection I needed to see right there. That's it. Okay. I'm with you now.
back in the library, you don't even have to have someone yelling names out or calling kids. You just have it up on with the projector or TV, and the kids can look at it and see, oh, I'm slot 3 in group 3 or car 3 in group 3, and they just can go out and know exactly where to go. It's easy for everyone.
Awesome. Brooke, I don't know if you were going to read Ben's comment. You texted and said you had a little connection problem. Ben Maynard, who is one of my colleagues at KDE, he's a former elementary principal, and he said the best part is being able to account on a daily basis if a child is picked up. Nothing worse than not knowing when a parent calls to find out why their child didn't get off the bus or where their child is. And he also asked a question, Principal Stunson. He said, do you allow after-school clubs to enter who they have in attendance on sheet 4? Can you pull up the sheet if a parent calls possibly? So what do you do about clubs?
We haven't taken it as far as to putting in where students are going for clubs. That would be a good step. But we currently are not doing that. But that would be another good way to know if a sponsor put in this kid's here, this kid's here, this kid's here, and they did those on the days when they meet. That will be another good step to know where each kid was, whether they were in a club or whether they went in car rider, or if they went on the bus. You could kind of rule out the kids that were in the club, the kids that were in the car rider line, and then the remaining kids you would know went on the bus.
Do you guys foresee any of the other principals in Warren County initiating this system in the future? I mean,
maybe now, if any of them are watching.
I think Deborah LaSala was on, and she said that she loved it. Daniel McCoy also texted, said he's going to try to get their schools in Ohio County doing the same thing.
all right, awesome. Lots of good stuff going on in Warren County, and it's no coincidence that they have 3 rock star ed tech leaders in Amy, Robbie, and Matt. So principals, if you're listening, Brooke hit the home run earlier when she said, partner with your ed tech leadership. Make them, I think Ben actually said this on another show about Google Classroom. He said, first thing I did when I became a principal is I became best friends with my district ed tech leader, because anything that is a challenge for you, any system that you want to create, you take it to them and they help you think through it using these digital tools to work smarter, not harder, which is what this series is all about. And I know I met Chris Stunson over the summer at the Warren County Admin Retreat, and Amy said that, Chris, you've really been on fire creating these systems with Google tools for quite some time. What other systems, since we have you here, what other systems have you created that you're pretty excited about?
We have what we call a leader portal here at Bristow. It's kind of similar to some of the systems that have been shared on previous episodes. Of course, we have our discipline referral is a Google form, which notifies teachers and all the staff members who need that information. We have a Google Calendar. That's a shared Google Calendar. It's a little bit different than a living calendar, but we use a Google Calendar. One of the first things that we just actually had our first one this past week. We had a flip faculty meeting this past week, and so we used Google Classroom and then Google Sheets to create a flip faculty meeting. So that was kind of one of the things that we championed and started up this past week. And so we're currently working through that process. All of our PLC minutes, all of that stuff is done digitally. So we've really tried to reduce the paper traffic, just because, those old triplicate forms that offices use, I got tired of them sitting on my desk. I wanted all those things gone. And so it's so much easier when things are coming to me with technology, because it's with me all the time. I don't have to wait to get back to my desk to take care of those things. I can be a lot more efficient when things are on my phone, they're on my laptop, they're with me at all the time.
I got to see one of the teachers working on some of their stuff for the flipped faculty meeting, and it allowed truly a differentiated approach to serve the teachers and what their needs are. So one of the teachers had the opportunity to create a Google site for her classroom and work on things that really benefited and served her students. So it was neat to see just the trickling effects just from that one flip faculty meeting that Bristow had. So that was really great.
Awesome. And Amy, we're going to be featuring another of your principals in January, I believe. And what's that principal doing that you're pretty excited about?
Ben Frazier, he is principal at Plano Elementary. He is using some Google tools for RTI tracking, behavior tracking, academic data tracking. So that'll be exciting to see what he has to share.
Well, since you are here, Amy, I'm so glad to see you. I know you've been a little under the weather. Jeff Cebulski just chimed in on the live chat, and he said Warren County always a leader in ed tech. So he wanted to share that gratitude with you guys. I know we have the Kentucky Go Digital regional event coming up that Brooke just launched, and you guys are a big partner in that. You have your STLP regional coming up, and the one that we have at WKU is one of the biggest in the state. So shout out to you guys for all your hard work. Warren County's rocking it out.
Well, thank you guys for your support as always. It is amazing to have the support of the Kentucky Go Digital team and just our neighboring districts, Hardin County, one of our sister districts, in Brooke, always being there literally an hour up the road. So it's always amazing to have such a supportive group of people across the state with the Kentucky Go Digital team.
I had one more question for your car riding system. What if a student is riding home with another student that usually is a bus rider? How do you tag a student to another student? Do you go in and change that manually, or is it what's the system that you use when you have? Because I know lots of kids ride home with other kids. So what is that system that you have developed with that?
Our system for that is, of course, the parents. We have to have some type of written note from the parent. So our office delivers a car rider note to the kid. And so when they come through, they have to have that note with them to get in the car with someone else. So we have it's like a little blue tech card note that comes with them that says, and it comes from the office, says this kid is going with this family. Now, as far as the sheet goes, you still have the ability to type in, even though you're using data validation, you still have the ability to type in those cells. So if it's a kid that's not normally listed, then you can just type their names in. And what we actually do is when we have situations like that, and it may happen more than once, we actually just list them in there and pairs like that, so that's an option to pick. And so that's something you don't have to do that. But that's something that we've done we've got cousin and things that it happens often. They decide to go home with cousin again on the weekend, and so we list those as options as well. So there may be a kid that's listed in there 3 different options to pick based on a trajectory we see that they've ridden with this kid several times.
Awesome. I am blown away by this system and feel as if lots of schools are going to be knocking on the doors of how can we start this and how we can start making our system more efficient as well. That's one of my favorite things about technology is when you marry it with something that you're currently doing and making it more efficient. That is near and dear to my heart for sure. Heather, again, she shared some of our regional information that's coming up. Make sure that you are on the lookout for those dates that are going out. And Heather, can you let anyone know about how to get in touch with Kentucky Go Digital?
Sure. So lots of different ways. Yeah, the regional event. So Brooks recently announced Region 2, and she might talk a little bit more about that. Elaine, you launched with Kate, Murray State. Region 1, you announced that yesterday. I was actually on a call with Crystal Doolin out in Corbin, working on their Region 6 Kentucky Go Digital date. So we should have an announcement about that in a few weeks. And I know Courtney and my teammate are looking at several Kentucky Go Digital regionals out in Eastern Kentucky next summer as well. So lots of groundwork across the state, planning these awesome events. Really, the vision for these events is that we bring all kinds of awesome people within the region together who are creating digital leading and learning experiences for their students and teachers. We bring them all together. They connect, and then they share what they're doing back to their home districts. And so pretty powerful stuff. We have the Principal Ed Camp coming up, which we have a Kentucky Go Digital strand. On December 6th, we have lots of principals from around the state sharing at that event as well, how they are using digital tools to revolutionize the way that they are leading schools, like Coach Stunson. Coach Stunson, that's your Twitter handle, so that's what I see in my brain. Principal Chris Stunson, there we go, like him. And actually, Coach Chris Stunson, I might need to have you present in the Kentucky Go Digital strand on December 6th as well. I might be calling to twist your arm. So always the YouTube channel, we are almost at our 300th subscriber. So this little idea is really starting to get a lot of traction. And we have 10 shows to support principals and give them the power of pause. Always our hashtag. That's a great way to get a constant stream of good ideas. So if you aren't connecting to the hashtag, please do so. So lots of good ways. I'm honored to be here with all of you, and I'm excited to see what we continue to do together.
Thanks, Brooke. That was awesome. I too am honored to be with you.
That's a compliment. But it's
Heather, I'm sorry. So our next, if there's nothing else that we can add to this, speak up. Was there any questions or anything, Heather, that we might have missed, or anybody joined? Okay.
Real quick, don't forget that we are on Facebook too. So our Facebook is Kentucky Go Digital. You can search us there, and be sure to follow that page. We are trying to build our audience. I know there's a lot of people who live in Facebook land and not Twitter land and whatever. So we are in all the places. So be sure to connect with us on Facebook. I just posted there our awesome resources from today. So don't forget to connect with us on Facebook too.
Thanks, Brooke. Appreciate it. So next Thursday, November 9th, we will be live at 11 a.m. with Melody Stacy, the principal from Taylor Mill Elementary in Kenton County. Make sure that you create, connect, and share on our hashtag and around the states, all those awesome things that you're doing. Together we are stronger for sure. So thanks again, everybody, from Warren County from joining us. And if that's it, I think that's a wrap.
Thank you, Elaine.
Get involved with Kentucky Go Digital. Attend regional events, like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, or follow us on Twitter.